I'd like to talk today about the unipolar depression as seen by psychopharmacologists because psychopharmacology gives a slightly different perspective on major depressive disorder. We are all aware of the diagnostic criteria for the unipolar depression, but from the psychopharmacological point of view, depression has to do with the dysregulation of norepinephrine, dopamine, or serotonin pathways in the brain. It may involve one of these pathways, for instance, norepinephrine alone, or dopamine alone, or serotonin alone, or it can involve two or three of them together. Therefore, unipolar depression, it can be divided in depressions with increased negative affect, and they are characterized by depressed mood, guilt, disgust, fear, anxiety, loneliness, hostility, and so forth. And it is believed that the depressions with increased negative affect are caused by dysregulation of norepinephrine and serotonin. On the other hand, we have the depressions that are characterized by reduced positive affect. And these depressions are characterized by loss of happiness or joy, loss of interest or pleasure, decreased alertness, decreased self-confidence. And it is believed that these depressions are due to the dysregulation of norepinephrine and dopamine pathways. Now today I'd like to focus more on the depressions manifested by negative affect. These are depressions caused by dysregulation of serotonin and norepinephrine, and they are manifested by depressed mood, feelings of guilt, disgust, fear, anxiety, hostility, irritability, and loneliness. Now, how these feelings are categorized and what are the pathways in the brain that have to do with these feelings, they are related to the serotonin receptors. And today there are 8 serotonin receptors that are known, and each one of them has a specific function. For instance, the 5-HT1A receptor, that's the receptor where Buspar works when it affects this receptor as a partial agonist. Now, when serotonin binds to 5-HT1A receptor on a dopaminergic neuron, this leads to feelings of depression and anxiety, and also increase of glutamate in the brain. Now, the most known serotonin receptors are 5-HT2A. These are receptors at which serotonin binds at the 5-HT2A receptors on a dopaminergic neuron, and these are the receptors that are being blocked by the atypical antipsychotics in schizophrenia. Now, when these receptors are blocked, they cause decrease in sleep, they cause decrease in hallucinations, they cause excitation of pyramidal neurons in the prefrontal cortex. So when the 5-HT2A part of the atypical antipsychotic binds to the 5-HT2A receptors, that increases the dopamine in the brain. But when serotonin binds to the 5-HT2A receptors, that decreases the serotonin in the prefrontal areas. Now, another 2 serotonin receptors that are very new in terms of knowing their function are 5-HT2C, 5-HT6, and 5-HT7. 5-HT2C has to do with antidepressant action, meaning when you block the 5-HT2C receptor on a dopaminergic neuron, that causes more serotonin to be released in the prefrontal area, so it has the effect of being an antidepressant. Now, 5-HT26 and 5-HT27 are newly discovered receptors, and 5-HT6 has to do with long-term potentiation or memory, and seems like a brain-derived neurotrophic factor is a function of 5-HT6. And the brain-derived neurotrophic factor can cause the dendritic tree of the neurons to grow. 5-HT7 has to do with chronobiology, with sleep and wakefulness, and possibly with cognition. So the new cognitive enhancers will be targeting 5-HT7.